What's up, guys? Welcome to Callahan Media. My name is Lex, and I've been kind of figuring out what I want to do with this channel. I know that I have a huge love for audio production. I know that I love cinematic things, so I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of do a little bit of both. To this particular video, I'm going to be reacting to the Superman trailer from DC Comics and the new DCU cinematic universe from James Gunn. Now, this trailer has been met with a lot of divisive things. I might pause and stop a little bit, but I just like making movie reviews, and I love film, so I want to do this. So without further ado, let's watch the Superman trailer. So here we go.
Are you being serious right now?
Beautiful cinematic shot.
Yeah. You'd let me interview you as Superman. Sure.
That's a Lord Tech? Okay. So they're tying in the Maxwell Lord thing here, for sure.
Superman.
Miss Lane.
Recently, you've come
Honestly, the CGI looks good. I'm glad they started during production. Now, okay, I gotta pause here for a sec. So I know that they definitely took this, and one of the things they did is because in the original trailer that James Gunn released, there was like when he threw the can, his eyes blinked, and a lot of people had a huge issue with that. And I think that that's like a totally fair sentiment. I think that like if like looking at David Cornsweet here, which I think was actually good casting from James Gunn. I think there's a lot of things here that could have things that he could have done incorrectly, but I think that the fact that they corrected that in post-production was a huge thing. Now, I'm also not completely sold on the suit. I know Tyrone Magnus is kind of divisive, but we'll let it go through. I think there's a lot of good things in this, so let's keep going.
Today, the Secretary of Defense said he was going to look into your actions.
Frank Grillo.
That's fine.
Interesting cast for the other Joel Kinnaman's father, also.
Maybe.
CGI looks questionable a little bit there.
You illegally entered a country.
I still don't know who the fuck... Okay, hold on a goddamn minute. Why was Ultraman walking like that? Like, why? Okay, we're gonna watch it one more time. Why was he walking like that? Like he had to take a shit. Like, what is that walk? Like, I'm not a fan. And maybe being hypercritical.
Did you consult with the president?
This Lex Luthor, though. And my name is Lex. I'm like, hell yeah.
Representative of the United States
CGI looks good there. Oh, that's cute. Okay, we got the Hammer Bravia. That kind of looks shoddy. I really wanted to see where that shot went. The engineer. Crypto, of course. That could have been done better, I feel like. All right, Crypto got one in. That was a good shot.
That's what makes you who you are.
Pod Kent's like desolate, like old. Mr. Terrific.
It's not bad.
Metamorpho? Was that Kryptonite?
Somehow become the focal point of the entire world's conversation.
Okay. Yeah. Some intensity, okay.
Go get him for you.
Oh, that was cool from Green Lantern. Okay. Okay.
You have a dog.
The CGI on Crypto looks great. Okay. So I think that okay, I'm just gonna pause it there. I think that there's a lot of good things coming from this trailer. I think that James Gunn and Peter Safran have a huge uphill battle as far as how they handle DC Studios moving forward. I think that this film, and I've heard a couple of reports from several different YouTubers, and again I'm just getting into the film game here, but I've heard several reports from several different YouTubers that the budget for this film is 563. It's a $363 million. It's a $363 million film budget with $200 million as far as advertising is concerned, which means they need to make at least $563 million in order to be a profitable film. Now, to be fair, guys, like I'm obviously like a DC fanboy. You can't see it in the shot, but I have like Batman art hanging up here and a whole bunch of other stuff. But I really am interested to see what James Gunn does with this film. Now, from the trailer we just saw, I really think that there's definitely a lot to be desired. I think that some of the CGI, obviously, especially with him coming out like a year ago saying that they were already starting, I'm not really seeing the pre-planning as far as that is concerned. So maybe that'll, pan out to be some sort of like they touch it up a post and they just didn't give it the shots, But I mean, like, dude, like, let's be real here, guys. Like DC, like I'm a DC fanboy. Like I loved what Snyder did. I know it's gonna alienate half my audience off rep. I love what Snyder did, but I also think that like there was something to be said about his level of attention to detail when it came to his action sequences. And I think that one thing that if DC is going to use this film to launch a cinematic universe, I think that they absolutely have to lock in some sense of grandeur. Like I need to see a certain level of je ne sais quoi that I've never seen from a comic book film before. And this looks to be a faithful adaptation of the Silver Age Superman. I've heard that it's based on All-Star Superman, and I definitely see like a lot. It's like a lot of these comics here, in the final shot that I paused on or illustrating. But I think that, oh motherfucking screensaver! Did that just fuck my shit up? I don't know if it did, but anyways. So I think that there's definitely something to be said here, and I think that, all bullshit aside, James Gunn has to deliver with this film. I like that they included the Hammer of Aravia. That's definitely something that I misinterpreted on my first viewing here. I was like, that's not Lex Luthor's mech suit. But I understand that there's a political dichotomy that's going on in the story. And, I think that it's interesting. I've heard that there's a 10-minute film shot or a 10-minute conversation like scene with David Cornsweet's Clark Kent and Superman talking to Rachel Brosnahan's Lois Lane. And I hear that that's like one of the main focal points in the thing. It's kind of like a Sunset Limited, like, let's have a conversation, minimize the set pieces. And I think that there's a lot of cool things that can come from that. I hope that James Gunn, and I've heard that there's reshoots going on now. I hope there's not a lot of crazy reshoots and stuff going on. But, my fingers are crossed. I'm really, really curious to see what this cinematic universe, even if it turns a profit. Because regardless of which, from all these three films that have been, kind of greenlit unofficially from the DCU, we've already have Superman completed production. That film is coming out in, less than a month, or a little over a month now. We have Supergirl coming next year. And then we have Lanterns coming following that. And I think that, unless this film really hits the box office huge, there's a very, very low chance that, DC is going to turn a profitable margin moving forward. I think that that's the exact thing that James Gunn and this new DCU regime needs in order to, possibly turn Warner Brothers back into a positive profit-building entity or otherwise. But, again, my name is Lex. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Callahan Media. I'm going to be doing lots more trailer reviews. Let me know what you guys in the comments. Please drop a like and subscribe, and also hit the bell for more notifications. I'm going to be doing more trailer reviews. If you guys like what I said, or you don't, let me know. And I love you guys, and we'll see you in the next show. Thanks.